Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Nature and Science for Kids. You definitely know who I am by now. We are getting close to celebrating 4 years, by the way. We are just a few months away. Can you believe it? 4 years? Where's the time going? I'm so scared. I'm not scared at all. I think that's fabulous. Now, on to this episode. This episode is similar to one we had recently. We had an episode a couple months ago about black holes. This episode is in line with that. However, we had a request from a listener, a listening friend, a supporter on Patreon who wanted an episode about astronauts. Now, it would be awesome if I were an astronaut and I could tell you all about it, but I've never been to space. It would be awesome if I knew an astronaut and I could interview them, but that hasn't happened. So I have something similar, kind of. I'll share with you what's going to happen after our theme song. I told you I'd share with you after the theme song what's going to happen, but wait, I have a few facts. Did you know that there have been astronauts? What is an astronaut? We could start there. Astro has to do with stars and space. Technically, it's a person who is trained and sent, usually on a mission, to space. So the question is, how many astronauts have there been? Would there be 10, 30, 100, a bazillion? How many astronauts have flown in space? Since 1961, 63 years ago, there have been 600 astronauts in space. 600 evenly, not 601, not 599, 600. But did you know that there have been some animals in space, such as monkeys, apes, dogs, cats, tortoises, mice, rats, rabbits, fish, frogs, spiders, and even more. Quail eggs. I'm reading they took quail eggs into space. Why did they take quail eggs? What did the quails think of that? Maybe they were excited. Back to the dogs. It doesn't say what kind of dogs. I'm wondering if they took basset hounds out in space. Maybe they were astro hounds. They took their snouts and large flapping ears and flapped through space. We're definitely getting carried away. This episode is going to be an interview. One of my students recently, where I teach, shared some interesting information with me, and I thought, what a fascinating interview that could be. So let's get started with this interview. Here to record with us and be interviewed is my student, Olivia. So, Olivia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a 9th grader, and I'm part of the Polaris Song crew as an honorary member. I had cancer in 2021, and I was invited to the Inspiration 4 crew mission, and from there on, I created the Series U for the Polaris program, basically.
Okay, so let's go back to, in 2021, 3 years ago, you had cancer?
Yep.
And you survived?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
Pretty good.
You said something right at the end about SpaceX.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
So SpaceX is a private industrial company, and they build rockets and stuff. And they're doing amazing work. Like, they're gonna probably hit the Mars in a few years. They've been the first ones to send up non-astronauts, like all civilians, to space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you did something related to that?
Yep.
Tell us about that project and what you did.
So I created the zero-G indicator, because I call it Asteroid. It's a little Shiba Inu dog. I can base it off of Elon's dog Floki, since there was like a whole bunch of cryptocurrency going around, and I made it for everybody. Like, it's for all kids, and as an inspiration of what you can do.
Okay. After the show, I'll have a link to it, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And that way people can check it out if they're interested. So let's go back even farther. You're interested in space things, obviously. How did you come to be interested in space?
I actually really don't know. Around probably 4 years old, I really got into liking it. I thought the stars were pretty, basically. And eventually my dad talked to me about SpaceX, and I'm like, that's my stuff.
Somehow it just was your thing. You really liked it. What do you do these days to continue to enjoy space?
I just love watching the podcasts and interviews and whatever they have for, like, crew launches. What's that, mostly? I really want to be, like, the first kid in space under the age of 18 to ride a rocket into the stars, basically.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think some of our listeners would probably enjoy that too. Oh, you've kind of answered my next question. Do you have any plans for the future related to space? You said you would like to be like the first kid in space and rocket to the stars. Is there anything else you have in mind?
I want to work at Mission Control for SpaceX down in Hawthorne, California. I feel like it'd be really cool. I really just enjoy watching other people achieve their dreams and make new history for the books, basically.
So you would enjoy anything about it?
Yeah.
I can tell. Listeners, you can't see, but she has big smiles. She really enjoys this. I enjoy space too. One thing I like about it is how vast it is, how small it makes me feel, but in a positive way, how meaningful it all is. And my wife really likes space. She took a course in college that made her really appreciate space, and she might have liked it before that, but that was something that just spurred it on. And so we had a telescope just given to us, a cheap one, and I remember the first time trying to find the Orion Nebula and seeing it for the first time through the telescope. It was very neat. It did not look like Hubble. It was not that large and that clear, but it was still really cool. Thank you, Olivia, for taking the time to share with us and being an interview here on this episode about space and astronauts. I'm grateful Olivia was willing to interview with us. We had to work our schedules out, but it worked out in the end, and I'm glad. I got to know more about her. This episode was for you, James. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Moose Jaw Matt. Until, nope, we're not ready yet. I wanted to share a couple things. I wanted to share some reviews since January. January 2, Cluster of Stars says, I love the Grand Canyon one. Me too. 2 days later, Eric DJ said one of our kids' all-time favorite shows. Nature and Science for Kids is one of the few podcasts out there they can both agree on and always ask to put on. We listen almost every day. Love the biblical perspectives too. I'm so glad. A Moody 17 said we listen to this podcast on repeat and my 6-year-old never stops asking for it. I'm glad. This person has no name, but they have 2 tent little images. Tents, I like that. They said, my 3 siblings and I, we are homeschooled, love listening to your podcast after we finish schoolwork. I'm glad that you're doing your schoolwork. Good for you. I really like that your episodes are short, yet they are very engaging and educational. And I really appreciate that they are presented from a biblical perspective. Please keep making episodes. God bless. Well, thank you very much, Tent. keep camping. One more. Crystal Mizares. This podcast has been so wonderful for my kids and I. Now we even have my husband loving it. Woohoo! You go, husband. We love the music, the enthusiasm, I try, the facts, and the added truth from the creation perspective. Moose Jaw Matt, hey, that's me, does an amazing job pointing back to our wonderful creator when he explores nature. I'm so glad. We truly love this show so much. Thank you. It's not the full review, but you get the idea. Thank you very, very much for these reviews. They're so encouraging. I don't think you realize how encouraging they are. And I want to appreciate all of you for listening, subscribing, leaving reviews. Before we leave, I would like to say happy birthday to Brooks. Brooks, I hope you have a wonderful birthday, that you get to explore nature, even if it's just briefly, get some fresh air. This is a lovely time of year. What a great time you chose to have your birthday. Not only Brooks, but we have another bee birthday. Boaz, I hope it is beautiful. May you be blessed this birthday. Look at all the bees, the alliteration. And with that, I'm Moose Jaw Matt signing off. Until next time, keep exploring your world.